And hello, everybody, and welcome. Oh, can you believe it? I cannot. I am so excited to be here today, and I am really happy that you guys are able to join me. We are, oh gosh, 24 days in. And it has felt like we are trudging through mud for most of it, but I have confidence that we are just going to keep being fantastic because we are taking our goals and we are just doing it a little bit every day, right? Just write it. Hashtag just write it. Taking the big goal and breaking it up into manageable pieces one day at a time. And we're also realizing that even if life gets in the way, because that happens sometimes too, that we're still doing a really amazing feat with taking on this challenge and putting that goal out there saying, I want to do this, I want to achieve it. And, just sitting down and saying that you're going to accomplish that and to set that intention is really awesome, and make sure that you give yourself that credit that it not we have to be flexible with how life is. You can't control everything, but to just sit down to do it is a really amazing thing. So make sure that you give yourselves all of those credits, okay? So, for those of you that don't know, my name is Coral. I'm one of the municipal liaisons for the Illinois Elsewhere region. Basically, there is about 20 regions, I want to say, in Illinois, and over 900 total, I think, all over the globe. And so we are just plodding along, and during our virtual write-ins, we get an opportunity to do some prompts, and we will do several different little writing things, and I try to give you guys some, and we talk a little bit in between. So as people come in, we'll say hello. But yeah, most of the stuff we're just going to get into. The very first prompt, though, is going to be short. It's just to get the juices running. I like to think about adjectives, right? For my very first prompt, a lot of times I choose things that are descriptors, or trying to describe the things that are going on around. There was one virtual stream where it was raining so bad, and we had some bad weather here, and so we were using that as our ambiance. Today it's a little chilly in my house, and I feel it in my bones. It's so cold, and I think that is going to be a really great prompt for our very first prompt. Is going to be, just that extreme of feeling like you're so cold. And what would you do with that? Would you be like, and also remember that when we are doing these prompts, now when I say what would you do with it, I mean what would your characters do with it too, because you can use these prompts any way that you need to set the spark. So for me, I know that one of my characters would be very proactive, and she would be all about trying to figure out ways to get herself warm. And she's in a forest, so she would be searching out stuff so she could set a fire and warm herself by the fire. And I have another character who's not like that at all, who's very like, I guess I'm cold. So what would one of your characters do? So we're at 5 minutes, and that's about when I like to start it. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my Microsoft Word so you guys can follow along. And there we are. Okay. All right. Our very first prompt is cold down to my bones, because that's what I am. And I'm going to set our timer. And this is a 5 minutes. This is just a 5 minute sprint. So I want you guys to sprint with me. Just write down whatever comes to mind, cold down to my bones, and go. All right. And we are at all right. So we did 108 words that time. Not too bad. Not, I did have to think a little bit more because I was distracted by the cold floor. Maybe I should have wrote about the cold floor because it was distracting me. Whenever you're writing, you do want to make sure that you are kind of that you have your area set up. And I'm gonna prop my feet up on something, a pillow or something now, so that way I'm not on the cold floor. That'll help. Things like that. Have your water, have your coffee if that's going to help you. I have my jacket on. They like to keep it nice and toasty nice and chilly in this house. So I, under protest, shall write my dissatisfaction with the amenities thusly. Yeah. But anyways, so one of the things though that we do talk about a lot in these write-ins is we do chat a little bit about not just characters and the different ways that you can do your writing and plotting and stuff like that. Since if you've gotten to this part of it, you should have a pretty good idea of where you're going with your story if you haven't already pre-planned everything. So right now, the biggest job for you is just going to be getting those pieces down on paper. And we mentioned last week that one of the most important things for you to do is you need to write down the minimum scenes that you need for your book to get to the end, if that makes any sense. So, for instance, if you are doing a train heist, you'll need your setup. You'll need your actual heist, I guess. You'll need like if something goes wrong, you'll need the after effects. You'll need at least those things. So if you're going to do, say, a train heist where they are just bumbling and they're no good at it, then you need to have, okay, so what are some of the things that are going to go wrong? So that would be another scene. Those would be other scenes that you would absolutely have to put in. So as we're coming up towards the end of NaNoWriMo, my biggest advice is always to write down what is the minimum scenes that you would need for the book to be, quote, finished. And it's kind of okay if it's exposition right now because you're just getting it down, right? And that's because a lot of people, even if you look at some of the videos on this from other writers, is most people don't think of NaNoWriMo as you're going to have a 100% finished piece of work all the way at the end. Everybody knows that this is your draft. And in fact, this is probably going to be the worst draft. And that is because it has to be that way. You're doing it in 30 days. You know that your next step is going to be some major editing. The hard work is tearing apart the book and making it better. So right now, in order for us to meet our goal, right, we need to make sure that we have all of the scenes that are required to get to the end. So, and make sure that it is the specific scenes that, like, you're not hiding anything, right? Because you're writing it out. So it's not like you're waiting to surprise someone or whatever. You don't have to worry about any of those things. So just do the exposition part. And then that way you can at least have references, and then you can backfill in what the actual scenes. So I have I'm doing work on a thriller, as you guys know, and I know that in order for my end of my book to be over with, they need to take care of the creatures, right? That's one of our big things, is we have to be able to take care of the creatures. So I've already kind of gotten to that part, and I'm working on my last part, and that is I'm finishing up. So I know at the end of, after hitting my climax, very shortly after that climax, I'm basically going to go, what happens after? So what is the aftermath? And then I have to kind of do like the new normal, right? The new, whatever the results of that aftermath is going to be, that's what I'm going to be writing. So I know that that is the last few areas that I'm going to do. Now, I have plans for what I want to do, but I haven't quite figured it out. So it's still stewing. Maybe I'll work on it on Saturday, this Saturday, because we have our special show that we're doing this Saturday. But so today, though, I really want to work on, because I'm not happy with the relationships between some of the characters. And so that's what I really wanted to work on, is that. I know some of my other writing buddies have been saying that they are not happy with some of the world building, and so they're working more on adding more meat to that bone. So it is up to you what you concentrate today's writing on. So hopefully my prompts will help you guys, but if not, I at least hope to be encouraging. And I'll always be your cheerleader. So let's go ahead and start with our next prompt. We're going to do I like the longer one. So let's do a good 15 minutes, I think would be a really good time. And I love this next prompt that we're going to do. And I hope it helps you guys out a lot. I think it is a really neat prompt. All right, let's go ahead and of course it's not showing up. That's awesome. All right, stand by. Hold on, let's see what's going on. All right, I have it. It's there. My word is up. You can't go one time without it. Oh, there, now it's showing up. They'll win a OFF discriminator, right? Always. Okay. All right. So prompt 2. I really like this one. Okay. Is our world today a better or worse place than it was when you were a kid? Now, I like this one because for me, I mean, the prompts on its own could lead to some really cool writing, but for me, I always think about my characters. And in my story, I'm constantly referencing things that happened to one of my main characters constantly as a kid. So I'm actually kind of excited to see where I go with this prompt when it comes to my characters. So we set 15 minutes on. I'm excited to start. I'm not even going to blabber on anymore. We're just going to dive in. 15 minutes. Is our world today a better or worse place than it was when you were a kid? Or, just something along those lines for your prompt. So 15 minutes and begin. Mm.
It's over now, she's gone to rest. I've clasped her arms on the quiet breast. Draw back the curtain, let in the light. She never shrank, let me too bright. If stars were really watching eyes of angel armies in the skies, to keep me from the longed for day, I could not feel more far away. Will be safe when he comes in by Mercedes morning then, hoping to find you to know. So laugh, but I now know. If stars were really watching eyes of angel armies in the skies, to keep me from the longed for day,
probably shouldn't. I tried to leave you once. Well, it just couldn't. My love is strong. I can't restrain it. I don't believe it's wrong, even though I can't explain it. If you believe it's a sin, I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive it. We only get this life living, and I think we owe it to ourselves to live it. Yeah, I love you, baby, though I can't command it. I wanna squeeze your sugar till you tell me that you just can't stand. When we're apart, I'm driven to distraction. I get a heavy heart thinking about a little midnight action. If you didn't,
all right.
Just trying to invent you. And on Sunday morning, I pump my fist and thank the Lord above that He sent you. Yeah, I love you, baby.
Can you believe it? Every single time we get done, I'm always like, can you believe it? It went so fast, because it does every single time, right? That's what I'm always through. I swear, today feels like I'm walking through mud. I haven't been able to get very much of my, normally I'm like, okay, let's get it out. And no, today is very much like just trying to get something to come out of what's going on. And some days are just like that, but it's almost more satisfying when you do kind of like punch and claw through days like that, because it's like, gosh, yeah, we made it through that, right? We might only get a few hundred words, but they were hard words and we got it. That's kind of the feeling that I have for when it's this way. And there was a thing. Yeah. Okay. It says, oh yeah, so I wanted to read a little something for it, and I thought maybe you guys might like to hear some other ways, like some common rejections or objections, and how to kind of rethink about them. And maybe it'll be something that is helpful for you guys when you have like that negative self-talk. I know for me, and it might just be a cliche writer thing, but one of the hardest things for me, even a few years back when I first started Nano, was just getting up the nerves to do it. And I got so scared to even try that I didn't try. And of course, you're going to fail 100% of the ones that you fail to do, right? So for me, that was a huge obstacle. But even now that I have done a few NaNoWriMos, and I've won some and I've lost some, but it's like, you still have to battle those inner thoughts that you're like, well, what if, I don't know. Let's pick one of the things. I don't have the talent. Well, the best thing to kind of, correct is that's the reason why we're doing this, right? We're cultivating our talent. We're working towards making that talent better. So each time that your head's like, well, maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not talented enough, or I'm not as good as so and so, I try to reframe it as, well, that's why we're doing that, right? That's why we're doing this. We want to be better writers. And NaNoWriMo, if it does nothing else, it's really great at forcing you to acknowledge your priorities. For me, I know NaNoWriMo is a huge priority for me. I know that my family is a huge priority. I know every day when I get up, I have to feed the dogs and the bunnies that live in this house. Like, it has to be done. And I know I have to eat. So I know that those are certain basics, and I have to go to work, right? Or, if you go to school, then you have to go to school. So you know what your priorities are. And being able to set aside time to be able to do the things that you really enjoy, while also like determining like, okay, how do I also meet my obligations? Because we all got to do the things we don't want to do, right? We got to do chores, we got to do the errands, we got to go do those things too. Life can't stop just because Nano starts, although I would love it if it could be that way. But it definitely does. Sometimes you have to kind of like barter with family members, like, okay, I know, but it's Nano. Can you get me this time? And I promise next time I'll do it twice or something. You know, things like that. I mean, yeah, it's all things that just things that you can do. So yes, you might not now have the talent, although I bet you do, and you're just not giving yourself enough credit. But one way to turn that thought around isn't, I don't have that talent. It's, I'm cultivating my talent, or I am working to better my field, and that is why I choose to do this, right? So that's one way that you can do that. Another one that comes up a lot for me is, I don't have time. Gosh, that one comes, like, there's so many times where I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to get through NaNo. I don't know how I'm going to get through today. I don't know how I'm going to get through the next hour, because I just don't have enough hours in the day to deal with all of this. So again, I think this kind of goes along with the first one, where I said that creativity and setting aside Nano time is a priority for me. And because I know how much it means not to me to not only write, but I feel better mentally when I am writing. I feel like I'm a better person when I'm writing. And maybe that's because I can, if I'm having a frustrated time, I can actually write out those frustrations in my characters, or, you know, things like that. So I think that anytime you have that thing that comes in that says, I don't have time for it, reframing it as, this is a priority, because in the end, I'm going to get a lot out of it. And so I need to prioritize this. That is something that you can do that might be able to help you as well. And the other thing is, I think, is reassessing not only your priorities, but talking with your family and friends and see if maybe there's something that someone else can take off the plate for you. And that might be a no, but just talking it out with them. Sometimes I brainstorm with my family all the time, and they're such a big help with that, because I constantly, I'm like, this is what my brain is like thinking about right now. And until I address it, the big old elephant in the room, I won't be able to figure out what to do next or whatever. And so sometimes we can work it out together as a family. Another negative self talk, which I was literally having while we were doing our last prompt, I have nothing to write about, which is so not true, because I have so many ideas. But sometimes when you get writer's block, that is the thing that pops up, right? I have nothing to write about, or I don't know what to do. You know, it's just like, you end up staring at it. You're like, well, what? It's just not coming out like it normally does, you know, and you just feel like, ugh. But I think a good way to reframe it is that no idea is off limits. So by looking at what you have written, or or your other prompts, or, you know, Googling a new prompt, or thinking about maybe going a different direction, like starting at a different scene. That's one of my favorite tactics is, okay, this isn't working. So what about in the middle of the book? How has it changed then? What about after the scene happens? What's happening? Who's reacting to whatever just happened? And sometimes by asking those questions, you can kind of kick certain things into gear. But I think also, just don't be mad at yourself for it not coming, because it's supernatural for it to kind of ebb and flow like that. So I wouldn't knock yourself just because it's not coming, you know. I don't know. Sometimes it's just like I can't get it out of my head fast enough, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are like, that's not any better or worse than when it's not, you know. It's just they're different types of writing styles, and each are equally valid. So that's why if you see certain writers doing it a certain way and it's not the same style as you, don't take that personally as well. But also think that maybe it might be a good thing for you to try a different way. That's also another thing that you can think about as well. Like this year I tried to do prepping and it didn't really work out too well for me. I'm not really a good prepper, but I'm still hoping that it's going to benefit in the long run. So we're going to keep going and see if maybe next time will be good. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe next time I'm just going to go straight pantsing and, you know, riding this at the seat of my pants and see how it goes, because I think I did better that way. I don't know. All right. So what are some other ones? I don't want to, I think we'll do one more and then we can go back and we can do some more prompts and we can talk about, because I think there's only a few more left, but a common one that comes up a lot is self-doubt or whatever, is no one will want to read it. Yeah, that one I feel so much. But and the response to that is I write for myself. I am a voracious reader, and there are times when I cannot get enough books to read. I could literally read all day and forget to eat. And if I could and I had a lot of money, I would probably set up an animal sanctuary, but then I would also probably read books to the animals because I love reading so much. I'm not some fantastic, you know, nothing fancy schmancy, but you know, there's something really funny about reading like books like Watership Down to a Bunny that I find hilarious. It makes me happy. I think I would also travel a lot. I would travel, meet people, because I like talking with people. I think people are so fascinating. So many different personalities, and the way that people think is so interesting to me. And it's always fascinating that like how different we are. I really enjoy that a lot. And I like sharing experiences, and I just feel like that's part of the human experience for me, is the stories, right? Like I feel we started off as oral storytellers, and that's how we passed on our history. And so by writing these stories out, you're kind of doing that same thing from all of those millennia ago, except this it's just a little bit different technology, and it's super cool. So that's what I do when I think about no one will want to read it. Well, it doesn't really matter if nobody reads it or not, because it's stories that I like, that I enjoy, that I'm creating these characters that are super interesting to me. And they live in these different worlds that would not be if it wasn't for what I, me putting the things together. So, and I write a lot what I like. So it's like, if I'm reading a lot and I get bored when I'm reading, and I'm like, I'm bored because there's nothing new to read, well, then I'm like, I'm just going to create something that I want to read, because it doesn't seem like there's anything like it. So let me just do that because I'm bored and I want to read something. And then it's like if I pick up some of my old work, it's it's almost like you forget a lot of the stuff that you wrote, and so it's like it's new again, and that's pretty cool too. So, you know, give yourself a break and write for yourself. So on those notes, I will stop blabbering on about that stuff, and we can write about, we can do our next prompt. So let me go ahead and bring up our next prompt. Prompt number 3, thrice. A really bad roll of the R there. I apologize for anybody that can actually roll their R's. All right, prompt number 3. And we are going to do, oh, kind of related, but kind of not, but that's okay. What place would you like to explore after it is closed for the day? All right, I kind of love this, so I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of an awesome prompt. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Okay, so let's go ahead and set our timer. I think we're gonna go ahead and do a 20-minute timer this time, because this one is super cool and super interesting, and maybe hopefully there'll be something that comes of it. We'll see. And so the prompt is, what place would you like to explore after it is closed for the day? And remember, you can go ahead, and it doesn't have to necessarily be you. It could be one of your characters or something along those lines. So have fun with this prompt. I'm very, very interested to see what you guys come up with. All right, we're going to start 20 minutes on the clock and go.
And though I don't recommend it, the rule that keeps me from you might not break, but I think I'm gonna bend it. If you wanna drop by, you know my back door's open. Just tell a little white lie, might not work, but again, here's hoping. If I don't get to see you real soon, I might just lose my capacity for reason. You like hunting up my dear, some say it tastes a little better when it's not in season. I love you, baby, although I probably shouldn't. I tried to leave you once, well, you know I just couldn't. Our love is strong, you know I can't restrain it. I don't believe it's wrong, even though I can't explain it. If you believe it's a sin, I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive it. We only get this life we're in, I think we owe it to ourselves to live it, yeah, yeah, yeah. was a butterfly, dreaming I was me. I flew up to the mirror, but there was nothing that I seen. I flew up to the mirror, but there was nothing that I seen. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. I jumped, I went to heaven, picked a strange, beautiful rose. When I woke, I had a rose in my hand. I jumped, I went to heaven, picked a strange, beautiful rose. When I woke, I had a rose in my hand. When I woke, I had roses in my hand. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. Saw the world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a wildflower. I held infinity in the palm of my hand, and eternity in an hour. I dreamt I was a butterfly, dreaming I was me. I flew up to the mirror, but there was nothing that I seen. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. You lie, I cried. The butterfly woke, and I died. The grains and cracks of gray beneath my feet were smooth and dark the day they were laid down. The tan lines and white flakes heed their sheath. When I first wore these boots, they were even brown. The wear is on this world, you see it now. Stepping back in fear when our paths cross. The distance we carve with the furrow plow. Though we till no soil, leaving love to gather moss. We don't have to live here. Love leads no fallow land. Plant that mustard seed. Take me by the hand. Love is
All right, and there it is.
breaking our story.
Oh my goodness. All right. And that's time. How did you guys do? Hopefully you guys did well. Yeah, that was a good prompt. I actually had some good things that come out of it. I really liked it. It was pretty chill. Got some chill music too. I was enjoying it. It was pretty cool. I hope you guys like that as well. We had lots of really good stuff there. I was actually writing about a memory, a real memory, because I hadn't thought about it in a long time. It's pretty funny too. But it was one of my brilliant ideas as a teenager after going to the county fair, that instead of calling my parents, like, to go get picked up and stuff like that, I thought it was going to be a brilliant idea to walk home. And I was like, 14, 15 years old. It's a really fine idea for a young lady to do, right? My parents were so freaked out. They thought that, of course, that something really horrible had happened to me. And I was clueless. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that maybe I'd get in trouble for it. I had no idea. My brain was just like, oh, well, because I originally went to the fair with my sister, and she ditched me. I say we ditched each other, really. Yeah, we pretty much ditched each other because we didn't really hang out. And we went off and did our own thing. I was supposed to meet up with her and get a ride home with her after. I don't know if she forgot or did it on purpose or whatever, because it doesn't really, honestly, either way, it didn't really matter, because in the end I didn't have a ride and I was just sitting there. It was like getting close to midnight and I was just like, so what am I supposed to do? I'm stuck without a ride. I don't have no money, and like, what am I gonna do? So of course I didn't have a car, and back in the day, there wasn't no Uber or anything like that. So it wasn't like I could call them. I didn't have a cell phone either back in my day. Oh God, I swear it wasn't that long ago. But anyways, so I got the brilliant idea that I was going to walk home. Yes, that was my brilliant idea. 14, 15-year-old girl, I'm going to walk home. And because I was hanging out with two of my friends, they're both guys, because I hung out with most of the dudes because I was a bit of a tomboy back then, and so I always hung out with the guys because I don't know, I got along with the guys. I didn't understand girls, and I couldn't understand like all of that stuff, and so I was just like hanging out with my bros, you know. And so we came up with this brilliant idea. We were just go walk home. And Mobile, Alabama is not a place like where anything is near each other. It takes a half hour to get to anywhere. And where we live particularly, like it would take you a good 10-minute walk to get to the closest house. At least that's how I remember it. It's probably, watch it be closer. I would love to go back to one of the places I used to live and see how far away it actually was. Watch it be like 2 minutes. Oh, yeah, no. I'd be so embarrassed. I'd be like, really? It's like not even two minutes away? Like, that'd be so bad. But yeah. But I decided that I was going to walk home, and we left probably around midnight from the fair, and we made it home. I want to say the sun was coming up. So like 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning when I got home. Yeah, so obviously parents were pissed. And I'm no doubt scared. And when I turned down the street, there was literally cops everywhere. And I was just like, oh no, somebody got hurt. I didn't even realize in my head. Like, everybody thought I got kidnapped or something, that something terrible happened to me. And I was like, no, I didn't even think about it. I was just like, I'm on my way home, okay? I was so naive. So yeah, I got home, and yeah, that was my it blew my dad's mind, because he did not understand why my first instinct was just to walk home and not call and let anybody know. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have any money. I didn't have, any money for the payphone. And he's like, so why didn't you like find a police officer? I was like, why? And he's like, so he could give you a ride home. And I'm like, oh, that's a thing? I'm like, I didn't even think about it. Like, I was just like convinced my only way home was to just book it, I didn't want to be a bother. Like, what are you talking about? Call someone? No, I don't have any money. Like, I'm not going to call somebody to come pick me up. It's after midnight. Everybody's probably asleep. What? No, not going to happen. Yeah, I was wrong. It was terrible. It was really bad. Yeah, I probably should have been a little bit smarter than that, but I didn't think. Honestly, like, my brain didn't even go there. I just didn't even think about how that would have affected my parents, that they would be waiting for me, that they'd be worried about me. I thought for sure they would, that they were like, like, I just thought for sure that's what was going to be the thing. So who knows, what was going through little Coral's head, being crazy. So there's my story for you. Hopefully you guys got a kick out of young Coral being dumb. I have a lot of those stories. If you guys want to hear more, let me know in the comments, and I will embarrass myself more for you guys. So we should probably take a few more minutes and talk a little bit more about some more negative self-thoughts or objections that might come to your head. We can talk a little bit about that, and then we can go and dive right back into writing. Excuse me. As a common thing that we do here, kind of echoing in the back of our heads, is what if I don't have good grammar, or like, what if the stuff that I'm creating is just, it's so terrible, and my thing is, my excuse, I would say, is that I like to say I'm a writer. I'm not an editor or a copywriter or any of those things. I'm just a writer. I'm a storyteller, and I create stories. Other people might find it better to say something like, I'm a better writer every time I write, or that when you get to the editing step, that is the time to consider grammar and all of those things. So anyone can learn the rules of grammar and study, and you can pull up in books about grammar and stuff like that. But in order to tell a story, I think that there is something special to be able to express those different things. So don't worry about grammar. That stuff you can learn. But get that story out that's there, that's waiting to come out. I think that's going to be the important thing to kind of concentrate. So anytime that you start worrying about that stuff, just be like, you know what? I'll get to the grammar and I'll get to that stuff later. For now, let's just get through this chapter. But I tell you what, though, when I see that squiggle pop up, it is so hard to ignore. But you have to in Nano. Nano, you have to ignore, and I'm so bad at it because I have, like, I'm like, oh, come on, please. But, it's hard. It's hard, but you have to. Let it wait. You'll get to it after Nano's over, okay? And then maybe then you'll be fine. Unless it's like so bad where you can't even tell what you're trying to write. Then what I would do is, instead of deleting it all out, rewrite the whole sentence starting from scratch. That's another trick that I do sometimes, because you really shouldn't be deleting anything. You want to count all your writing. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll highlight the bad one, and that way I know that that's something to look at later. A lot of times you'll notice I'll write a sentence and then I might highlight a word. And that's just something, a trigger for me to look back when I'm kind of reading over things. Oh, I highlighted that. That's something to pay attention to. So even if I don't remember exactly why I highlighted it, although most of the time it's pretty obvious, because I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's terrible. Or it'll be an entire sentence and I'll see the exact same sentence over again, and maybe I'll rewrite it a third time and get rid of both of them. Who knows? So don't worry about that, and remember that every word counts. So don't erase. You can highlight. Some people will actually turn the text a different color. That's how they like to do it. They like to turn it white or however you like to do it, if that's something that you do. Another trick is to change in the word processor, you change it to just have that type of font that has like just a single line that goes through it. That's something else that you can do too, just a single like cross out. That's something for you to try. So maybe that'll be something that you'll like as well. So yeah, those were kind of the things that I wanted to talk about, of ideas that you could do anytime you start having like that negative self-talk just start creeping up. I think that reframing these things can be difficult sometimes, but hopefully we can help each other get through it. Lastly, I think just forgive yourself. You know, we're doing a really, really amazing, insane challenge of trying to write 50,000 words in 30 days. And like, it is a humbling experience because of how tough it is, but one of the most important things that you need to do is just, you know, forgive yourself and give yourself room to almost to fail, because by giving yourself that permission, it kind of lowers the bar. So that way when you do make it, you're like, "Whoa, I did it." But also I think it's, you know, just realizing we're all human, and, you know, we might not make it the first time, and that's okay. But maybe we'll be able to learn something from it and grow and become better writers. Or maybe during this time you met some new friends or buddies that you want to stay connected with, and that too is equally important. And so there's so many different things that you can take from NaNo. And so even if you don't make your 50,000 words, just give yourself permission to fail. I think that is just fine. All right, so let's see if we can do another sprint. I know we just did one, but I do want to do another one because I want to make sure that I try to get through 5 sprints. I don't know if we'll get to all 5 today because I did go on a little bit of a rambling tangent, but we are going to attempt to do what we can do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get up the piece of paper. We are getting that. All right, prompt number 4. Let's see. This is going to be, I think we can do, I'm looking in my creative writing prompts book to see what types of fun stuff we have for, this is a prompt that you see a lot, but and so maybe you'll like this one. Look around you and choose an object in the room. Now write something from the point of view of that object. Now, this is a very common prompt, but what I think a really cool way to play around with this prompt is look around you of the types of things that are in, you know, the types of objects that are in your room, and then consider what types of things are in the room of where your main character is right now. And then do the same thing. So yes, take 5 minutes of this prompt and look around you. Choose an object, any object, write something from the point of view of that object, and then consider some of the objects that would be surrounding your main character, and do the same thing, but from the point of view of the object in the world of your character. Okay, so this one's a little bit more complicated, so we are going to give you that 20 minutes, but I think it could be really, really neat. And I am going to warn you, so that way you know, I'm going to do 10 minutes, and then I'm going to tell you when it's halfway done, and then I will let you know we're halfway done, and then I'm going to start the timer again, and so that way you'll get the full 20 minutes. So that way you know that if you're not done writing, you know, you can get and you can switch to the new object. All right, so let's start. We're going to do 20 minutes total, and I will warn you when we are halfway through. And begin.
hearts in two. Let joy and despair wash on you. Love is my road back to you. The sun burns down the leafless land again. The
conditions are set by the sound source the musician chooses to use, and the resulting song is a journey of twists and bends to a new creation. In that process, choices have to be made, questions need to be answered, and old paradigms are challenged.
This is your reminder, we are halfway done. Halfway done, 10 more minutes. And guess what? We now have time. Oh my goodness. All right. And it's time. It always goes so fast. Although it felt like that one, it felt like in the beginning, it took a little while to get there, but I really, really like the ones that kind of takes me a while to figure out where I want to go, but then as soon as it does, it lights that fire, and then you can't get it out quick enough. To me, those are my favorite moments, and they're just, there's nothing like it. But it's not to say that when you're not doing the other stuff that it's not equally as good. It's just something satisfying about that for me. Well, I guess I should probably take a few moments and discuss this week, since we do have a very peculiar schedule this week. This is the last official week of NaNoWriMo, so I know everybody's gotta try, to get as much writing in as they can, and as you should, and I am all for it. Normally we do our live shows on YouTube and Twitter YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And we do it at 7 p.m. Central Time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, except for Thanksgiving, which is in 2 days. So instead of doing a Thursday show, we're actually doing that one on Saturday. And instead of doing it at 7 p.m., we will be doing the Saturday show starting at 9 a.m. And I chose that one because I really wanted it to be at a different time. So that way, because I know I do a lot of my shows at 7 p.m. in the evening. Not everybody can make it, but I do have them on so that way you guys can, watch it anytime you want to. But I want to see you guys if you can make it. And so we decided to choose a different time to hopefully give people more opportunities to be able to join us live. And so that's the reason why we chose that. We also, it's been a long week. Lots and lots of up till midnight writing, trying to get a lot of stuff done. So my plans are, tomorrow is our sprinting on Discord days, so I will be doing those for sure. So keep an eye out for that. On Thursday, since it is the holiday, I don't plan on doing anything that's writing related. I do kind of hope that I'll be able to have some time to, but I'm just not sure. I am going to be doing probably some hanging out with family virtually on Facebook. But I don't plan on doing anything official through NaNo or anything. I'll peek in every once in a while and see if anybody has any questions or anything along those lines. But I don't foresee me going on very much. And then on Friday we have our Facebook Messenger group. So, you could definitely, if you want to come to that, please do. The other thing is, then Saturday we have our live show at 9 a.m. And then Sunday I do my hourly prompts from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and it is a long day, but it is, I love prompts, so it's fun. But that's also the day that I do my bunny enclosures, and last Sunday went a little crazy. So you got prompts on the half hour because of how crazy it got. But it is what it is. So, and then on, so Sunday we do 8 p.m. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then the very last show that we have coming up is on December 1st, which is our Thank Goodness It's Over party, which should be really, really fun. I hope. But yeah, that's gonna be on at 7 p.m. on that Tuesday. So, which is 1 week from today, and I hope you guys will come. Whether or not you make the 50,000 words or not, it is a time where you can come celebrate your accomplishments, meet other writers similar to you, maybe get some names to write down for some buddies, maybe to do stuff with the now what months. We'll be talking a little bit about the now what months, so that way you guys can have an opportunity to see what's coming up post NaNoWriMo and all of that jazz. So that's coming up. And then, yeah, and then we will be done with NaNo. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. So let's not think about that. It's coming too quick. Like, oh no. No. So I'm not ready yet. Are you ready yet? I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. Okay. We can do this. We can. I swear. All right. So what do we want to... Okay, the last thing that we probably should talk about is I definitely want to say thank you to the other MLs out there that have been able to do the same thing that I'm doing. I know how tough it is, and it has been a pretty crazy month with everything that's been going on, the pandemic and everything else. Keeping that going with what's going on is a really big job. So please reach out to the municipal liaisons and let them know how much you appreciate them, and the staff at NaNoWriMo as well. Let them know. You can, I included one of the links in the description is to the NaNoWriMo website, where if you got anything out of this, or the community or anything along those lines, please consider sending a donation their way. They are a nonprofit organization, and they have programs for the Young Writers Program to come write in programs and things like that. So I want to make sure that I mention that before we go, so that way if you guys did, you can, and I'll leave it up to you. All right. So I think, yeah, that's gonna be, yeah. There's like only 6 more days, and then we're done. Oh my goodness. Like, I blinked and it's done. I can't. Okay. So last thing on my list of to do, okay, if I'm going to do what I need to do, I need to write how many words per day. That's what the calculations is as of right now. So I don't know about you guys, but that is certainly the job. Because I still have chapters I need to write, and we only have 6 days. But we can do this. But even if I don't get, like, we can at least finish this next chapter. That's what, like, we can reassess. This is okay. This is a guideline, right? It'll be okay. 6 more days. Oh, I cannot. All right. I'm gonna have to let you guys go. I need to, yeah. We're still gonna need to reassess. 6 days to the end of NaNo. Well, I guess you guys better come to tomorrow's sprinting on Wednesday, so you guys better be there on the Discord, okay? I'll see you guys next time. Bye.